lifetime planning. Can you explain what is that document?
Okay, so one of the things that we've previously talked about in this video is if you had minor children, what happens to them in the unfortunate event of your passing? So let's say your child is at school and something happens and you pass. All right, who can go pick up your child? Let's say that you're unmarried, so you don't have the obvious spouse that can go pick up your child. Who is going to go pick up your child from school? Is it going to be a family member? Is it going to be a friend because you don't have family in the area?
Can
Who
be
is
any.
that going to be?
Yeah, you want to tell the school that only a certain person can pick up my kids, right?
Correct. And actually, right now, because of safety concerns, if a random person shows up to school saying, "Oh, I'm here to pick up little, insert name here," the school oftentimes will not release without being able to contact the parent. So let's say that you pass. And so a friend has found out that you've
Or
passed. Oh,
or
no, I have to go pick up the child from school. They go in the line to pick the child up from
terminated.
school, and the school says, nope, you can't pick the child up. We can't get a hold of the parent to be able to tell us that you can pick them up, because obviously you can't answer the phone because you are deceased. So what is going to happen in those situations? So things can become very complicated very quickly when you have minor children. So one of the things that we do and help put together is a child lifetime protection plan. So what that does is it allows you to create the documentation with us so that the school has a list of people that would be able to pick the child up. There is a list of people that would take guardianship of the child before the court legally makes that decision on guardianship. So they have the approval of the parents to temporarily be able to have possession of the child and take care of the child. This is really important if you have family that is abroad or foreign in any way, or even if you have family that's just out of the city that you're in.
How is this different from will? You can name a guardian in the will, right?
So you can name your guardian in a will. However, the will doesn't come into being until you've gone through the process of getting a death certificate, which can take a month or more. Once you've gotten the death certificate, you set up the probate estate with the court. You have to be able to get in front of the judge. And once you've finally gotten in front of the judge and you have the will in your hand and you've handed it to the judge can finally make a determination. But that can take several months. And so you have to worry about what is going to happen to those minor children or an adult child. So someone that has incapacity and is an adult in that interim. If that person is a minor child, they're going to go through Child Protective Services and they will be at a foster home in the interim, which can be pretty traumatic. If you would prefer to have a different family member or a close family friend, be the person that's able to take care of the child between point A and point B, you need to name them in different legal documents than your will, because as we've just said, the will is going to take several months to actually be in front of the court and
Mhm.
for them to be able to name that guardian.
Also, the child lifetime planning
Mhm.
not only covered when you die, it covers when you become incapacitated. Those plan is valid. You can use those legal document, right?
Correct. So even if you don't actually pass, and let's say that something happens, you're in a medically induced coma for whatever reason, or
Yeah.
something happens and you're knocked unconscious, you're not able to make those conscious decisions, then this allows there to be a protection in place for your child during that time period so that they're taken care of, and they're taken care of with your family member or your close family friend, whoever it is that you want to be that person to take care of your child.
Mhm.
It's much more comprehensive than if you just name in your will.
The child lifetime planning can name the backup candidates, right? You don't need to just have like one candidate to be the guardian. You can name multiple ones.
Well, and if for whatever reason your first choice is at the time on vacation out of the country, if something has happened to that person and they're no longer able to serve in that capacity of the guardian, let's say that they moved to another state. So they have the capacity to serve with the guardian, but maybe they're not the best candidate right now because you'd have to move your child to a different state, to a different school. Then something that you can do with the child lifetime plan is you can set a series of people. So if there's for some reason it's not a good candidate for person number one, you can name person number two, person number three, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, right. So, and also you can name like short-term guardian and long-term guardian, right? Especially for those families that, like, for example, my in-laws, my families are in Chicago. So we have no one here in Austin, Texas, right? So we want to name someone like, maybe my in-laws will be the long-term guardian, but we want to also have the friends or neighbor in Austin to be the short-term guardian if anything happened to me or my husband, and those people can step in and pick up the kids on the same day.
Well, and it's also important, not just if you have family that's out of city or out of state, but if you have family that's out of country. So let's say that, Jeannie, in your case, you wanted to have any children that you had be able to be raised by your parents back in China. Then you
Mhm.
could set that up and they would be the long term guardians. But in the short term, while we set that up, you would have somebody that was local to be able to do that.
Right, 'cause my parents wouldn't be able to fly here. Well, especially those days, who knows that, right? They wouldn't be able to fly here maybe in like 2 weeks, right? They have to arrange something, buy the tickets, and then also their English is not that good. So you need someone locally who would be able to step in and then take care of those things for you before the long-term guardians gets here.
Exactly.
That's all the questions that we got today. But if you have other questions, we didn't get a chance to answer your questions, please leave a comment down below. We'll answer your questions in the next video.